Mana jaket antarin, adanya Gojek dan Grab. Aku mau ojek jaket biru mengisi jalan.
Kalau Susan jadi boneka yang itu, boneka yang di Squid Game.
Bunga hibiskusnya sudah mekar.
Dear Spring, even though it's a big party, even though you're invited exclusively, it'll suck if your friends aren't there. There's just you envying everyone else, going their craziest and having fun, wishing your friends are there so you'd do the same. You're not alone, but you're lonely. Every other fish in the big pond are either bigger or smaller than you. Dear Spring, I am stuck in Mount Pending Works writing a set of to-do lists on a leash while the weather has a good chance of procrastination. I didn't feel like working today, yet I felt bad for procrastinating and not finishing my work. Everyone says it's alright if there are factors preventing me from giving my best, but what if that factor comes from myself? My friends said, if you're not in the condition to work, don't force yourself. Don't feel bad about not doing your work on time because forcing yourself is worse. Don't waste your time in regretting how you could have done better, but just be proud of whatever you managed to did nevertheless. They've got a point. We're people, not machines. Most importantly for people in the creative industry, mostly artists, we need time to find inspiration because inspiration don't just come in an instant whenever we want it to come. With pressure, inspiration and motivation grew less. On the other hand, I've watched a lot of movies and series I haven't caught up to yet and got into a new book series starting last year. I'm on book number 4, by the way. Dear Spring, what is it with me and similar names? And automatically associating people with the same names as inside jokes, but hearing someone else who has the same name as me, I'll get up with a "there can only be one" stance and refuse to know more about them and their life. I feel as if that's a pretty weird reaction, especially if they have the same birthday as me. I seem to have an attitude towards people sharing names in general, and that attitude fluctuates depending on the situation. Maybe it's because I was given a rare name, and so are all my siblings, and it's pretty unusual to hear someone else having the same name as mine or my siblings, even though there are several other people sharing our names, obviously. It seems weird to me, but for my friends who have pretty common names, they're used to it. They just shrug it off like it's nothing. I can't imagine thinking like that. Is this difference between people with common names versus people with rare names valid, or is it just my weird thoughts again? For the record, there are people who are named after weathers and the 4 seasons. There's probably plenty of people in the world named Spring. You never know. Dear Spring, I fancy myself as working in an animation studio, even though I technically work in a creative content company specializing in e-learning content. But here's what I like about working in an e-learning company. Easy access to learning materials all the time. There's graphic libraries, sound libraries, HTML5 codes libraries, e-magazines and e-books, and we can create our own too, contributing for future projects. Plus, occasionally, the office has loads of scrap paper from printing mistakes, which equals recycling material resource, if I feel like it. Otherwise, we would just use them for doodles and drafts. The final products themselves also count as resources. All the animated videos we've made aren't just for our clients, but also for ourselves. Working in this office feels like you're in university again, taking a different major. You're suddenly learning about insurance, identity theft, money laundering, and all that stuff while practicing the graphic design and animation skills you've learned from your previous major. Probably even taking a minor in time management too. Really, I've even started writing down notes from all the books I've read. The non-fiction ones, mainly the self-help books, like they're textbooks, even though school textbooks aren't the most appealing of books. I guess I just missed learning in school after all these years of working. Then again, learning has neither place limit nor age limit. We can learn from anywhere, and anytime. It's just that learning when we're younger sticks more, because everything is still new to us. So, better learn stuff sooner, right? But also, like in college, working in a creative company can be stressful too. Usually towards the end of the year, with all the demands and revisions, both internally from project managers and externally from clients. Luckily, there's not much work that needs to be done at the moment, but once it hits, I don't know, probably August through December, the task board's gonna be filled. Our task rate will rise like crazy, and we'll be crazy hectic too. Spring, you are a time when everyone kickstarts back into their business after a long chillaxing winter period. And by the time your warm sibling summer arrives, everyone relaxes again. Slightly. It's kinda crazy hectic when you think about it. You're kinda crazy hectic compared to them when you think about it. Dear Spring, today was hectic and weirdly, I seem to enjoy it. That doesn't sound like me at all. First off, I was already piled with work in the first place, and then several project managers were hitting me up with revisions and requests that I had to draw for their projects bit by bit. I had to balance things out, because when one comes, I'm still preoccupied with the other one's request. It was supposed to feel stressful, usually, because I felt like I'm handed a pile of boxes to deliver and got handed a few more boxes while I still haven't delivered the first pile of boxes. I was twitching the whole time, but for the sake of everyone in the office, I had to brush it off quickly, which I did. It felt kinda strange, yet kinda right. Sure, there's the initial shock at first, which is pretty stressful, and before this, I couldn't get over it for hours. But now, I'm kinda glad it only lasted for seconds, before totally brushing it off and focusing to meet my deadlines on time. Maybe it's because I had enough experience of initial stress episodes and slowly, over time, I learned to get over it as time goes. Some deadlines are evil and a turn-off, but in the end, it's us who can only motivate ourselves to turn the switch back on. Alright. Dear Spring, lately I wonder if I need balancing and time management once more. I've read a lot of books and listened to a lot of audiobooks recently, but I realized I haven't been doing much comics and my productivity is stunted in terms of both office work and personal work. Maybe what I should do is to split the books I read chapter by chapter and limit myself till when I can start reading again after doing several amounts of work. It's like a reward system, but not exactly. It works both ways, I guess. When I'm tired of working, I'll read. And when I get bored of reading, I'll work. Think of it as a layer cake or something. Also, maybe I should cut down on YouTube videos per day and stick to listening to music or podcasts when I work. Songs keep me productive, and podcasts make me feel less lonely.